Japan, well, first let me say, isn't it great that they're here, given the traumatic, horrifying experiences of recent days and almost weeks now. Great that they're here. Well, they're up against it, of course, but they played in Las Vegas. They had the one win against Guyana, and I guess you'd say they've been bolstered by their South Pacific Island contingent with Latuila, Teaupa, and the new man, Lote Tuqiri. No, not the Australian, but a Fijian who's come into this Japan side. So we wish them well. And I'm sure the crowd will respond to them, well, they did earlier in their first game as well. But immediately England with Tom Powell, big, long striding forward who's growing in stature. Not literally, I mean, but he's big enough already. But as a player, there's a penalty, playing the ball on the ground, says referee Andrew Lees, the Australian.
Interesting ruling on that. I thought the ball was actually thrown back by Powell. He's a lot closer to the action, Lees, than we are. And that's what I like about England. They slow things down, make sure that everyone's in the right place before they get the set piece.
There's Lindsay Haig and Chris Cracknell. Lindsay Haig likes to go himself, but he's spun it to Gollings, who looks wide and sees Nick Royal there. Well, he did the hard bit and then lost the ball. Nice little step, and he's furious with himself. Don't throw the ball away, you'll get penalised. There's Nick Royal, of formerly the Fylde club, who replaced Lindsay Haig for the Wellington Las Vegas tournament. Keeps his place. Came out of Rugby League from Widnes in Workington. So look out for number 4 for Japan, Latuila, and the experienced Sione Fa'amau Teaupa as well. We'll be relying on them for ball winning. This is Lote Tuqiri, similar build to his namesake. There's little Shuetsi Narita, 4th time in the Hong Kong Sevens, and he's swift. And Toyoshima is in touch.
Oh, the crowd electric early time. Japan make a move. Good play by Narita as well. Knew that he couldn't go the whole way and tried to stay in play. Geez, England are as efficient on defence as they are on attack.
He's quick, wasn't he, Narita? Not straight from Lindsay Haig to James Rodwell. Well, that will really raise the crowd. If much as there is the support for England here, they'll be delighted for Japan to get on the scoreboard. Never beaten England, but they've been pretty close on a couple of occasions. I had in my mind that they once had drawn with England, but I think it was they lost by 1 point. That's Lote Tuqiri again. Darting, diving is Katsuyuki Sakai. Going well. Lovely play. Needs the offload, bit late. Matt Turner with the tackle.
Yeah, that is so much good work. Katsuyuki Sakai needed to offload, and I just kind of wonder whether Lote Tuqiri is doing a little bit too much as well, ball in hand from the set piece.
Powerfully built Fijian, who's at Hakau University, but was actually playing for his Fijian village, Namatakula village, in the Maris Sevens recently, when Japan were over there for that. And coach Wataru Murata said, oh, he looks good, picked him, here he is in the squad. And they carried on training out in Fiji for a couple of weeks. Once more Royal. Need a quick release. Toyoshima penalised. This is Lindsay Haig all the way. Chased by Shuetsu Narita. Brave tackle, but shadows him, in fact, all the way to the line. A lot of pace in this England squad, and this 20-year-old, one of 5 players who've all come out of Millfield School. It's remarkable, really, isn't it? 5 of them. And this is one of them. Odajobi, Powell, Brake, Lindsay Haig and Turner. They had a lot of what they might call rugby scholarships going to Millfield School, and it upset quite a few of the schools who realised that they wouldn't be able to compete with them properly because they had so many good rugby players on scholarships.
Good balanced runner, isn't he? But Narita trying to push him out wide to make the conversion difficult, but when Ben Gollings has got the kick, he might as well just stop because he ain't going to miss too many.
$7-0. Off the left foot as ever. England knock on. Takiri. Well, looking quite sharp here, Narita. Taking on the forwards. Lovely support, hey. Taupa. Great impact into that ruck, my goodness me. And someone's on the receiving end. Shrapnel, I think. Under the post, and there's Takiri. Ben Gollings really was on the receiving end of that charge into the ruck. And exploited by Japan, and Lote Takiri, I must say, if I didn't say it earlier, this guy looks rather impressive, this young Fijian. Here he goes.
Here comes the clean out. Watch this. And I think it's Latuila. Yes, it is, number 4. Bang. And that's where Gollings, and he got into an uncomfortable position there.
He was awkward position, wasn't he, Gollings?
And the ball comes out, and look at Lote Takiri straight through the gap. Then he went one way, the other way, and he basically just played a game with Lindsay Haig, the try scorer, to register Japan's first.
Well, we've seen a sequence of teams really at the top echelon really struggling to win. Last up, of course, Tonga, so nearly overturned Samoa, and prior to that, Russia giving Fiji a hell of a time. And Japan clearly are well into this contest, and with the conversion it's 7-all. All on the bounce here. Great take by Gollings. He's recovered well, and a lovely offload to Tom Powell. Two tries, and that's his 17th. And England retain the lead, regain the lead.
Well, Gollings was the man that kicked it and retrieved it. He bounced back, hasn't he? Knocked over just some seconds ago. Heavily taken out in a clear out from a ruck. Legally, put the kick in, chased the bounce of the ball, brought it back, and Tom Powell did the rest.
Well, that was a quick 7 minutes. They get the clock right. I guess they did. 14-7. Maybe just a little bit better this time. We'll beat them. And they don't think, oh, how can we keep the score down? We can still win.
Exactly. There has to be a lot of self-belief. The bigger issue for Japan and other nations like that, Nigel, is that they play in 3 or 4 tournaments only. Whereas the big guns, the Englands, the New Zealanders, the Australians, South Africans, France, Scotland and the USA are on all 8. And that does play a part.
Well, with the exception of South Africa, and in the past 4 games, we really have seen teams on the rack. Fiji, Samoa, and England uncomfortable still. Knock on, advantage, Japan, Narita, and then Takiri on now to Sakai. And these new players are making quite an impact. Remember, there are 5 new players in this Japan squad. Oh, and into the hands again of Takiri. They're crying for it wide. They're spinning it wide with Latuila. And here now with Taupa. Taupa offloads into the hands of Yamauchi. Yamauchi inside to Latuila. Nearly, so nearly. Crowd really lifting, rising to their effort here. And it's still there. He could go himself if he just looked behind him. Oh, it's a clever kick, is it, from Sakai into the hands of Takiri. What a score. Well, no less than they've deserved. No chance. It's just the way they're playing with that confidence. OK, it may be England, and they played them 11 times and lost 11 times. That means nothing to this new squad. They say
But
we're on the par.
Look at that kick from Sakai. He caught it magnificently, Nigel. It was perfectly weighted. He knew that he had players out there, and the best way to get it was the cross kick. This to tie it up. Not many people would have suggested that Japan would be within Kui of what we saw from an England side last night.
Well, isn't this the glory of sevens? What a kick. What a kick. 14-14. 5 minutes to play.
Didn't get to see it in the replay, but one of the keys to that try, as we look at the coach, Wataru Murata, is the turnover that happened, and the man that stole it was Narita, the smallest man on the pitch.
Rodwell for England. England, remember, have won this title 4 times. 2003, 4 and 6. And they are now up again it, but here's a Dan. And this is the Dan Norton. Just coming on. And again, game breaker is 22-year-old. He got a pair of Dans in the outfit, and Caprice and Norton, similar in style, similar in pace, and quite similar in build and looks. That's a lovely run, isn't it?
Yeah, piece of individual brilliance. Basically coming back on the angle, and Japan's defence hadn't moved across quick enough. He is lightning fast. First touch of the ball, and what an impact.
Breathing point for England, 19-14. They need a ball for the conversion. Referee Lee sensibly stopped the clock while the ball was recovered from the south stand. And so it's 21-14. Can Japan come back again? Well, what spirit there is in this Japan camp. There's the try scorer. Dan Norton had spells with Gloucester and Bristol in the 15s game, came through Hartbury College, and it all started out with the Spartan Minis. Saw lots of minis here before the show began this morning, the tournament. And great to see thousands upon thousands going through the mini rugby from age about, well, someone looked about 2, but I guess they were 4 or 5. Terrific to see. So, still time enough. Last quarter of the game, and it's Shiretsu Narita from the Suntory Club, who I think just recently won the Japanese Cup in the 15s game, and now it's the other Ben. This is Dan Caprice. Lindsay Hay through the middle, he loves to do that. Quite a different sort of angular style, hasn't he? It's quite elegant, really.
Yeah, like a ballerina. Beautiful on his feet. And just too much pace and power as well. Have a look at this. Norton then giving it back to Lindsay Haig, steps off the right, and then once he was through, just that quick acceleration over the next 5 metres. That's their 4th try, his 2nd in this match. And now a comfortable gap of 14 points between the two sides.
4 converted tries by Gollings. Well, we talked about the added power, the bolster of the South Sea Islanders, and that certainly proved effective for Japan. Atuila, Te Albert, Takiri. England ball. They can, well, they can't relax, but they can feel more comfortable now. Lindsay Haig sometimes tries to do a bit too much on himself, I've sensed, but he's kept it in hands. Dan Caprice. What's that? And given away literally. Pass to Takiri is much too big, much too strong. This could be for Powell. Perfect bounce for the forward. And that wraps it up after some uncomfortable moments. Well, one of the Millfield players, coached by one of the venerable prop forwards of England, Steve Shortland. I'm sure many remember him. And this was unlucky for Japan, fortunate for England.
Yeah, that's where the ball was turned over. What a lovely weighted kick as well. And Tom Powell scored one in the first. That's the double here. And even though the scoreline is starting to balloon out now, Japan certainly have not disgraced themselves, and the capacity crowd here have enjoyed every moment with them.
Took too long over the kick. So England denied that. Does it go down in his record as missed one? Well, that's the regulation. You heard the referee say 40 seconds from the time of the... 40 seconds is it's something that's been under dispute, and they've now said 40 seconds from the time of the try. If the ball ends up in the crowd, it's not the referee's fault. Has happened then. Takiri, Lotte Takiri. Yamauchi, last couple of seconds. Will Japan get one at the last? Narita. Well, whether they score or not in this last play, I think the scoreline will flatter England just a little, given that remarkable first half and the 40-0 scoreline. On comes Mark Odujobi. Only his second tournament. His debut was in Vegas last month. So the whistle will go, and that will be the final whistle of a very impressive performance by Japan here. All credit to them for all sorts of reasons that you're aware of. And my word, they gave their most in that first half and kept England on the rack for a while, before finally the talent and the skills brought England to a 33.